What's going on, y'all? Fabian Speaks, man. We are back with a video. Today's video is about avoiding pleasure and pursuing pain. I mean, in today's society, understand this, we naturally pursue pleasure. We naturally pursue things of enjoyment, the getaway, the vacation, the booze, the drugs, the music, the clubbing, the partying, because we live in a system that's just cyclical. It's organized. We're robots, right? It's a system that's set up for repetition, organization, and a certain form of control. So naturally, there's something in our hindbrain. There's something internally that just wants to break loose. There's something that just tells me, get me out of here, because in all actuality, I honestly believe us as beings, as humans, we're not called to just exist. We're not called to the 9-to-5 work. We're not called to just have a job, to pay bills, to save up retirement money. We are called for purpose. And this is why it's funny to me at times when people don't believe in God or a higher power, because that directly ties into understanding that you're meant for more. When you just think you exist, you naturally will assume stagnation, complacency, no drive, no ambition, no passions, no sense of urgency, right? And it's a weird place to be in. The world is set up for control, set up for brainwashing. The powers that be know your capability. They know how much you can do, how much you can actually accomplish. So you have these roadblocks set in place to stop you. I think everybody can get rich. I think everybody can be successful. But the immediate response to striving for more or better or what's not common is that's not possible. No, they can't. No, it's not possible. It's impossible. Because in today's day and age, we're conditioned to think average. It's not even today's day and age. Humanity is conditioned to think very basic. That's why there's only a select few that make it out. And when I say make it out, I mean that can actually have various forms of definition. Make it out and out of their circumstances, scale up a business, become wealthy, create opportunity for themselves, have freedom financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is, man. Everybody has their own scope of success, but it's possible is the point. And what's even like a million times better is the fact that we're uniquely made. That I'm different, you're different, you could do what the next man can. But in the world, we tend to group each other together in a sense of we're all the same, we all have the same limitations, we all have the same expectations. And I don't know why it's like that in life. It's good to be grouped together in terms of community, fellowship, loving one another, uplifting one another, but we think on different wavelengths. We have different aspirations. We have different wants and dreams and goals. Our visions are different. So why do we tend to put everybody at this level playing field that we have to operate in the same way? You gotta go to college. You didn't graduate from school. Oh my God, what's going on? You're not a doctor? You don't have a job? Oh. It's just this contention. It's just this friction, continuous against things that aren't outside of the norm. You need to live outside of the norm. You need to make your habitat outside of the norm. You need to be uncomfortable all the time. To not go towards pleasure and allocate more towards pain. Do everything backwards. I hugely, widely emphasize this. Do not go with the crowd. Do not do what people tell you to do, especially if they're not in a position that you admire, look up to. If they're not somebody that's doing what you would want to do, do not listen to them. I don't care how close to you they are. I don't care if they're your blood. It doesn't matter. It's another form of control because it comes from a place of fear. Fear and love, right? Your parents control you in certain extents because they fear for what is the outcome. Your parents want to send you to college because that's like the guideline. That's the blueprint. That's holding on to the railing still because We've seen that people who go to college get a job. But what if you don't want to just be the average Joe, the average schmuck? And I'm sorry if that offended somebody, but I'm tired of living by the blueprint. Now follow the blueprint because it has been proven in some cases, right? But I think that's the generations of past, not today's era. Possibilities are limitless today. Are you gonna still imagine things as if they were from the 1970s or the 80s? No. We're in such a technologically advanced society to where you should think that there is no box. Why are you already trying to box me in? But that control from loved ones comes from fear. Fear that you won't become, fear that you can't be successful. And that's not the actuality. We see kids dropping out of college. We see kids not going to college at the highest rates ever before. Because it's a new day and age. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's perceived as such because we've been programmed over millennia to think a certain way. I'm always advising to break out the mold because that's the beginning to true understanding. True understanding doesn't lie in a repetitive nature and a process or a formula that someone's laid out for you. Because that will never provide true fulfillment to the uniqueness you were created in. That will provide fulfillment for a bot, a person that's mindless, that can't think for themselves. And even in that moment, they won't truly be fulfilled. They'll just be okay, is the best way to put it. Mediocre. And I'm not knocking people that choose a certain path, but I mean, if we were to go to the depths of someone internally, I guarantee there's wants and dreams that they just believed weren't a reality. But why was the thought that that can't be such? Because society's programming, the limitations, the parameters that you get from society. So I advise people to stay away from the pleasures, having fun, because all it is blinding the truth. All it is wasting your time into believing that this is all there is for you. Because there's something deep within you that's longing for more. But there's like a certain blockage tied to the fact that you probably haven't arrived yet, or tied to the fact that you don't believe that it could be a reality. It's like being buried alive. It's like being trapped inside yourself. But this is the mentality some need to keep. Not everyone is able to cope with this type of mindset, mind frame. It'd be too much for them. Some people need the training wheels. Others don't. Others are willing to take the leap. So I encourage you. I've been on this journey for a long time, just a pursuit. Keeping God first, tapping into a higher being, right? The Father, understanding I have a higher calling because He created me. But then I've gone down the pathway of just enjoying pleasures and came up more empty than ever before. So when we really talk about it, the second half of it is like, pursuing the pain. And I put it that way because in a lot of circumstances, pain is where you grow. The long nights, the grind, the hustle, the struggle, saying no every once in a while, not always going along with the friend group, being different, setting yourself apart, isolation. You know what I mean? And that can naturally be painful. When you pursue pleasure, you're always trying to run with the friend group, the crowd. As I mentioned, that is distracting. But when you are in those moments of pain, right, to where you get to really self-reflect and analyze yourself and really understand who I am, what am I here for, what are my gifts and my talents. Sometimes these things can hurt, losing relationships, maybe breaking off friendships because people aren't serving you in that sense, right? They're not uplifting. They're not, contributing towards your mission. And I don't mean that in a selfish sense, right? Because we have friends vice versa in order to help each other. But sometimes you got those friends that are just leading you towards destruction. They don't support your endeavors. They don't support your dreams or goals. So that's where the pain will come in. Maybe saying no some nights, like I said, or, standing up to your parents, saying, hey, now this is not where my life is going to go. And sometimes that may look like a way. Some people have gotten kicked out of their homes. Some people have, just been completely cut off just because they wanted to go a way that they believed in. They went in a direction they knew that they were called in. So that pain can come in a lot of different shapes, forms, fashions. A big one for me is just being separated, being isolated. I believe the Lord put me in isolation, but simultaneously it's painful because obviously you don't have that social circle. Obviously there's a lot of lonely nights, but in those lonely nights, I've cultivated and understood who God was calling me to be. I've worked on new projects, started new endeavors that I never would have started otherwise if I just kept pursuing pleasure, pursuing fun, surrounding myself with people who weren't in my corner and didn't want to see me win. So take that with a grain of salt, man. Really take that with a grain of salt. And I'll just finish off there. Pursue the pain. Pain and suffering builds character, there's growth involved, understanding, development, diamond in the rough analogy. A lot of that pressure develops into beauty. So comment down below. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this, man. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.